Supply chain management, outbound logistics. Outbound logistics can be explained as the movement of material associated with storing, transporting, and distribution of a firm's goods to its customers. It is inclusive of warehousing and distribution of finished goods. It follows from the previous slide that after studying this lesson, you should be able to understand the marketing logistic, define integrated logistics, understand distribution and inventory, understand the component of physical distribution operations, make physical distribution cost analysis. The outbound to customer logistics system or the physical distribution system essentially refers to the set of processes, systems, and capabilities that enhance a firm's ability to serve its customers. Outbound to customer logistics have recently received increasing attention from business managers, including small business owners. This is due to, in large part, to the fact that these functions often represent almost half of the total marketing cost of a product. In fact, research studies indicate that physical distribution costs nationally amount to approximately 20% of the country's total gross national product, GNP. Thus, small businesses may expand their cost-cutting efforts beyond their historical focus on production to encompass physical distribution activities. The importance of outbound to customer logistics is also based on its relevance to customer satisfaction. By storing goods in convenient locations for shipment to wholesalers and retailers, and by creating fast, reliable means of moving the goods, small business owners can help assure continued success in a rapidly changing and competitive global market. Demand management may be thought of as focused efforts to estimate and manage a customer's demand with the intention of using this information to shape operating decisions. The term is used to describe the proactive management of work initiatives with business constraints. Successful demand management thus requires a multi-channel, multi-level approach that exploits every link in the supply chain, which for most enterprises represents a complex group of constituents. If you are short on demand, you could have back orders, cancellations, and unsatisfied customers. But if you overstock the product, you waste time, money, and space. Then what should one do to find out a midway? The solution lies in generating predictions that are precise and accurate. Demand forecasting is essentially a linear process of translating input assumptions into a forecast of expected sales. Keeping inventory levels low, costs down, and customers happy in a web-based, largely global marketplace requires companies to proactively forecast and manage supply and demand dynamically. There are four common approaches to forecasting, namely qualitative, time series, casual, and simulation. Qualitative forecasts are usually where there is little or no historical performance data to determine demand. They are typically based on an expert's familiarity of products, the industry, and customer preferences. Time series forecasts are ideal for items that have a generally defined historical pattern that does not change radically from one year to the next. For example, staple stock items in a retail store. Casual forecasting is used when there is a visible correlation between one or more variables to the demand for the product. For example, disposable income, lifestyle indicators, etc. may be used to determine the demand for many consumer durable items. Simulation method is highly sophisticated and is mainly used where the organization needs to generate multiple what-if scenarios. The importance of communication and collaboration can never be stressed enough in a supply chain. Collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment or CPFR is a concept that aims to enhance supply chain integration by supporting and assisting joint practices. It is a business practice that combines the intelligence of multiple trading partners in the planning and fulfillment of customer demand. CPFR links sales and marketing best practices to supply chain planning and execution processes. Objective is to increase availability to the customer while reducing inventory, transportation, and logistics costs. The typical order fulfillment cycle involves 5 activities, namely order transmission, order processing, order selection, order transportation, and customer delivery. Traditionally, the order cycle includes only those activities that occur from the time an order is placed to the time that it is received by the customer. Special activities such as back ordering and expediting will affect the overall length of the order cycle. Subsequent customer activities such as product returns, claim processing, and freight bill handling are not technically part of the order cycle. The order management system represents the principal means by which buyers and sellers communicate information relating to individual orders of product. Effective order management reflects the quality of the firm's overall management information system. If a firm competes on price, then it is highly unlikely that it will be able or will desire to implement high-level logistical performance, as this would reduce its ability to be cost competitive. It may also depend upon the stage in the product life cycle. During the introduction stage of the product, a perfect order would be unrealistically expensive, as it would be in the decline stage of the product. However, the cost for such a service orientation during the maturity stage of the product life cycle may be well justified. Some of the common causes of failure of perfect orders are order entry error, missing information, non-availability of ordered item, inability to meet shipment date, picking error, inaccurate documentation, late shipment, late or early arrival, damaged shipment, invoicing error, and error in payment processing. The concept of customer service in supply chain management borrows from the traditional concept of marketing. In other words, you identify your customers, identify their needs, and combine the firm's resources to meet those needs. However, the concept of logistics marketing goes a little further. In the traditional 4 P's of the marketing mix, place refers to logistics. In the context of customer service, however, place takes on another meaning. The role of place in the 5 P's is to facilitate the transaction between the logistics organization and its customers. In other words, the logistics organization should be easy to do business with. There are 3 fundamental dimensions of customer service: availability, operational performance, reliability. Availability is the capacity to have inventory when it is desired by a customer. The appropriate number, location, and stocking policy of warehouses is one of the basic issues in the supply chain when the logistical system is designed. Operational performance is a measure of the logistical competency of the firm. It can be viewed in terms of performance cycles differentiated by mission, type of customer being serviced, and the degree of operational variance experienced over time. Reliability is a measure of the ability of the firm to comply with levels of planned inventory availability, operational performance, and to rapidly provide accurate customer information regarding logistical operations and order status. However, to achieve quality in logistics and a high level of reliability, the measures of service quality used by the firm becomes exceedingly important. No manufacturing facility can afford to keep sufficient stock to meet every demand. Stockouts occur at some point. Stockouts result in either a lost sale or, if the customer is prepared to wait, a back order. Lost sale reflects the risk of losing the business to competition. In addition, back orders cause additional costs like those of extra paperwork, the time spent handling this extra paperwork, a system to handle the back orders, extra delivery notes and invoices, extra packing and delivery costs. EOQ, or optimal quantity of orders, is the optimal quantity of orders that minimizes total variable cost required to order and hold inventory. The model assumes three costs, namely ordering or setup cost, inventory holding cost, and shortage or stockout cost. The model adjusts the back orders with the inventory, and based on that, it determines the reorder point. The shortest cost is denoted by K rupees per short per unit time, that is rupees oblique year. The total average annual cost, TVC, can be written as TVC equals to ordering cost plus inventory holding cost plus cost of back orders. Chain of intermediaries, each passing the product down the chain to the next organization before it finally reaches the consumer or end user, formulates a distribution chain or the channel. Each of the elements in these chains will have their own specific needs, which the producer must take into account along with those of the all-important end user. The basic objective of a distribution channel is the availability of the product to customers. Hence, the firm has to understand what its target customers actually want. There are a number of distribution channels available to sell products and services to the customers. Some examples include direct channel, which is the first channel or a one-link chain where the manufacturer or producer sells directly to the final consumer, or indirect channel of distribution where the same manufacturer sells his produce to a retailer. These channels can be described as being either short or long. While a short channel involves few intermediaries, a long channel involves many intermediaries working in succession to move goods from producers to consumers. Channel width is a measure of the number of distributors, wholesalers, agents, stockists, and retailers used. As more intermediaries or more types are used at a certain point in the channel becomes wider. We all know about Internet being used both for B2C and B2B e-commerce. Internet retailing is bypassing the traditional intermediaries and selling and distributing directly to the consumers. This gives the possibility of channel conflict as the websites compete directly with the existing distribution channels and take revenue out from the distributors and retailers. Now let us check our progress. State if the given statements are true or false. Channel length is a measure of the number of distributors, wholesalers, agents, stockists, and retailers used. True or false? False. Direct channel is the first channel. True or false? True. CPFR links sales and marketing practices to marketing planning and sales processes. True or false? False. Let us revise. The outbound to customer logistics system or the physical distribution system refers to the set of processes, systems, and capabilities that enhance a firm's ability to serve its customers. Providing the customer with an acceptable level of service is of great concern, as is the efficient and effective flow of materials to value-adding operations. The supply chain has both space and time dimensions. A forecast is an estimate of a future event achieved by systematically combining and casting forward in a predetermined way data about the past. Forecasting can be characterized based on how far into the future it focuses. Demand planning becomes necessary for medium-term forecasts. Short-term forecasts are used for planning inventory control, order sizing, or transport scheduling, etc. The order fulfillment cycle links marketing and logistics. The interface between these two functions is critical. Significant enhancements to the order fulfillment process takes place as supply chain activities become increasingly collaborative. Logistics satisfies the broad requirements of time and place utility in this mix by ensuring that customer requirements involved in timing and product location are satisfactorily performed. There are three fundamental dimensions of customer service: availability, performance, and reliability. Reliability also means that there are fewer stockouts. Understanding the cost of a stockout is critical to the implementation of any inventory model. Unless these costs are known, the organization cannot balance the costs of holding inventory with the loss of profits when an item is out of stock. The distribution channel is a chain of intermediaries, each passing the product down the chain to the next organization before it finally reaches the consumer or end user. In logistics, the channel of distribution is a very important consideration. In general, the distribution channel decision is based on service outputs required by the organization and the ability of the channel, the ability to provide those outputs. With the increasing trend towards B2C e-commerce, there is a fear of extensive disintermediation. As a consequence, new logistic channels have to be established that can handle individual customer orders quickly and reliably and at a price that is competitive with the price in a retail store.